I'm gonna leave that house. My mom is away. Go away.
Hello there, children.
Oh, last week how we missed you. Let's take one last look. Here's Comic Book Man and Bocephus.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome to my video outhouse. Once again, it's time for Week in Review, and this is the Week in Review for August the 8th, 2010. This is your bookend to Shipshape. Shipshape, we tell you what's coming up for that week. Week in Review, we're taking a look back at what happened in this week. And this week, we're going to cover comics, we're going to cover media, we're going to cover a little bit of wrestling, we're going to cover the death of a favorite comic strip for a lot of you folks out there. And let's get right to it. The week in comics this week, when you look back at it, when you look back and say to yourself, what happened on the week of August the 8th, one of the things that people will talk about is the European invasion. Now, this is Soleil's Skydoll, which Marvel has been doing for quite some time now. They've been doing all the Soleil stuff. It's a French imprint that Marvel publishes. But this week, Humanoids, which is calling themselves, what company are calling themselves? GG Studio. GG Studio here in America. They released two titles. Two covers for each book. First one was The One. Okay, and like I said, this is a French book, or at least a European book, that GG Studios Humanoids prints over in Europe. And the second one is a French name, and
it means half-naked women having sex.
My high school French is going to come into play here, and I'm pretty old, so that tells you how old this is. Rogue de Maison, Rogue de Maison Rogues, which has something to do with naked women rolling around in a bed. Which, what the hell? I mean, geez.
They're French.
But anyway,
I'll take that one.
Now, this is actually the second week that this company has shipped books. They actually shipped stuff on the week of the 4th as well. But they shipped 2 books this week, which is double their previous output. So that puts 3 titles on the racks within the last 3 weeks. Now, all this stuff is material they've already been done over in Europe, so it's essentially reprint material. But that's all the Soleil stuff is from Marvel, is reprint material. So we've had sort of a European invasion in comics over the past week. I know Bo picked up all these books. No, he didn't. But they've gotten good reviews in the past. I've read the reviews on some of these books, and they've gotten good reviews, so you might want to pick them up. Also this week was the Return of the Dollar comic. Dark Horse started publishing, actually they did the week before with this also, but this week they shipped 2 of them. Aliens vs. Predator and Sin City #1.
I'll buy that for $1.
Both of them shipped this week. These are, of course, reprint books. DC's done their reprint books. Marvel's done their reprint books. Image has done and will do some more reprint books. Dark Horse finally got into the market this past week with these 2. They have many more coming in the future, but they're all $1, as well as IDW. This isn't a reprint book. This was a $1 book that IDW put out to push their upcoming Dungeons & Dragons series. Yes, they've got this franchise and they're going to be pushing it. They also did one other $1 book this week. The other thing this week will be known for is Lock and Key. This was a 40% off book, which meant it was 60 cents here at Alternate Reality if you came down this past Wednesday, the 8th of August.
Oh, those were the days.
And picked this up for 60 cents. This was the original first issue of Lock and Key that came out, 32 issues long, with an 8-page backup for 40 pages for 60 cents. If you missed it, you only got yourself to blame, because I told you all about it on Shipshape.
Damn!
But also this week, they also shipped the first part of the next Lock and Key series, which was Lock and Key Keys to the Kingdom. Bo, you read Lock and Key, don't you?
No.
He doesn't read a damn thing. I don't even know why I've got him. Hey, let me put my hand up back up Bo's head. Hey, Bo, did you read this? No, I didn't, Comic Book Man.
I know that Joe Hill has a lot of fans out there.
He's Stephen King's son.
I just don't care.
He just doesn't care.
I don't buy Tabitha King either, so it's not just them. I did buy the new Stephen King book in trade, and it's about 300 pounds.
It's about 300 pounds. Okay.
It's huge.
There was also one indie book of note this week that shipped, and that's Morning Glories. So far, we're talking about all indie stuff. Morning Glory shipped this week, #1 from Image. This is by Nick Spencer and Joe Izmiza.
I know him.
When I did the ordering for this book, I was like a lot of other folks. Another Image #1. It looks like a ripoff of the X-Men, but it's actually much better than that.
It's scary.
Which I sort of thought of when I was doing the ordering. I probably ought to order more, but Image produces so much stuff that doesn't sell. Sorry, Image.
What?
You do. Sorry, Image, you do.
What?
But this is actually quite booked, and it's sold out here at the store. This is a subscriber copy. It's sold out here at the store, but it is going into a second print, which you will have here at Alternate Reality. If you do see it at another store and you find it, you might want to pick it up because they're getting pretty rare. Bo wants to talk a little bit now about Justice League Lost Generation and the bi-monthly books, or bi-weekly books.
This is issue number 7 of Generation Lost Justice League. This book was written by Judd Winnick and what the hell's that guy's name?
Keith Giffen.
Keith Giffen.
Yes, Keith
Giffen has walked away. He's got other DC books to go, and so Winnick is going to write the book all by himself. Now, the point behind these bi-weekly books was you'd have two writers working on them.
Yes.
Brightest Days written by Jeff Johns and Peter Tomasi.
Right.
This is a situation where you've only got one guy writing it, and so the question you have to ask is,
Yes.
at what point will this book fall off the radar, schedule-wise?
Yes.
Because it's kind of locked into having to ship the week that Brightest Day doesn't ship.
Well, yeah, they go A-B with the shipping schedule. Actually, both these books, Brightest Day is selling much better than this is, but both the books are selling very consistently now that we're in the 7th, 8th week of both the books. What always happens with any new series that comes out is first issue is going to get your most numbers, then you're going to have a drop to the second issue, then drops to the third, and somewhere between 3 and 5, sales level out for the book. These books have leveled out. Generation Lost sells about half of what Brightest Day sells, but both books sell quite well. Brightest Day is selling much better, but both books sell quite well.
I think Brightest Day sells better because Jeff Johns is working on it. The book is not being sold by the artist because in order to get the book out every 2 weeks, you've got anyone who happens to be wandering around the DC offices going, "Hi, why don't you draw 4 or 5 issues?" And I think Brightest Day sort of had a better artistic rotation than Generation Lost has had.
Okay, Spider-Girl. You want to talk about Spider-Girl?
This is the last time you will see Mayday Parker.
Yes.
This is the last issue of Spectacular Spider-Girl. This is issue 404. Next month, they're going to do Spider-Girl The End by the same team who worked on this. And then at that point, she's gone.
She's gone.
Finally gone.
Bye.
You know, she's been away, she comes back, she's been away, she's come back. This time, the stake is completely in her heart, and nobody's willing to pull the sucker out.
Okay. Avengers 3 shipped this week.
Speaking of stakes,
Yes.
Avengers 3, horror.
A transition.
Horror!
He did.
And the main character is, well, you're introducing the Ultimate Blade. You're also introducing this guy over here in the corner is the ultimate version of Daredevil, who happens to be a teenager, but this is a horror sort of theme thing with has the Ultimate Avengers taking on vampires, and it's drawn by one of my all-time favorite artists, Steve Dillon.
Steve Dillon.
I love Steve.
Okay, last book that you want to talk about is Green Lantern Emerald Warriors. This is the third book in the Green Lantern franchise, third monthly regular ongoing book in the Green Lantern franchise. What do you think?
The question, well, actually, I thought the issue was pretty entertaining. The question is 3 Green Lantern books a month? 3?
Yeah.
It could be pushing it. You know, you complain about Deadpool all the time?
Yeah.
I think you've basically turned the Green Lantern franchise into
Oh,
Deadpool.
DC hasn't hoard out Deadpool nearly as much as Marvel's hoard out Deadpool.
You know, well...
Not yet. Maybe in the future, but that's
know,
maybe in the future.
You know at some point there's going to be a 4th Green Lantern book out
You
there.
don't know that, but there's a movie coming out, so yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised. Okay, in other news this week, we want to talk a little bit about Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim opened up this past Friday. We've only got, when we're taping this, we've only gotten 1 day's worth of box office out on it. It opened the same weekend as The Expendables. You sort of have an interesting take on how you think it's going to do.
It's been reported on Deadline Hollywood Daily as early as Tuesday that the film is not tracking well at all.
What does that mean?
That means that they've asked people whether they were going to see the film or not, and most of the people they've asked have said no.
Really?
The film on Friday is projected to make $4 million.
That would have been yesterday for us.
That would have been yesterday for us. For a Friday opening, $4 million for a film that has had the ad campaign this film has had is not good.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of good word of mouth about the film. It's gotten good reviews. I've heard a lot of people talking about it here at the store. Everything sounds like it's going to make some money this weekend and be successful, but we'll see.
I think the biggest problem with Scott Pilgrim is the lead actor is Michael Cera. Michael Cera does every role the same freaking way, and we're kind of tired of looking at him doing, oh my God, things are going to happen, things are going to be bad, things are going to be horrible. I think it would have helped a lot if Scott Pilgrim had mentioned the actors playing the 7 evil X's a little more.
Yeah.
Chris Evans is one of them.
Yes.
You wouldn't know that from looking at the trailer. You'd go, I think that's Chris Evans.
Brandon Routh is also
He's
in it.
also one of them. The first time I saw a Brandon Routh commercial, Wednesday.
Okay. Also, we want to cover real quick, MGM is getting its financing together.
MGM's financing is almost set. Basically, they've sort of figured out who's going to take over. Right now, it seems to be a financing company is going to take over. They're going to get a loan, and so the Hobbit film will be going on as scheduled. The Bond film is still in that weird transitional point, but I'll be willing to bet that they'll start production on the next Bond film probably about February or March. Spyglass Entertainment is going to end up winning the war for MGM, and so the studio will come back to life. The biggest problem with Spyglass doing this is the fact that They don't have a distribution network.
Okay. We want to finish up with a couple of losses, people who are no longer with us. You covered this in wrestling news. Lance Cade, the wrestler, he died this week. You can find out more information about that in wrestling news that we did for this week. Also, the Kathy comic strip, we also covered this in indie news, was canceled this week. Kathy was in 1,400 papers, but because of the state of the economy and because of the state of publishing, many papers have dropped comic strips altogether. Kathy is one of the strips in the papers that have been dropped, and they can no longer continue to do the strips. So October 3rd is the last time you're going to see Kathy. So for all you fans of Kathy out there, sorry, but
All two of them.
it's wrapping up. And the last thing we want to end up with is Todd McFarlane got his butt kicked in court this week by Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman won
which is the
again.
second time that's happened.
Dark Age, basically the people he had, supposedly Angela and Dark Ages spawned. The judge said, you know, not only are those derivatives, but apparently the judge reads comics because her ruling is actually pretty interesting and kind of fun. She goes, those are just cheap derivatives of the characters.
Okay.
He created them, pay him.
Okay, go to the Indie News if you want to find more about that because we covered that in Indie News as well. And that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. That's the Week in Review. Stop off at the store's website to read all about these stories and to see the links to these stories that we've done in the Video Outhouse. And until next time, this is Comic Book Man
And Bo.
saying bye.